BumbleKast for Monday the 25th in 3, 2, 1.
Holy. Shut up.
Well, Kyle's got the giggles now.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So,
that's normal.
and you're
but
both laughing on either end here. I'm just like, any minute now.
You were happy for me.
I was. Past tense.
not anymore.
You jackass.
Love you, boo.
Go to hell.
Gross. Out of here. Disgusting.
You didn't hear her reply.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I'm still talking about you.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Get out of here with that.
Yeah. Tell me something I don't know. Welcome to a priority episode of the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my priority co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
We have to prioritize the questions, Ian. The questions must be prioritized.
We have to find some kind of order to the deluge.
Maybe. I don't know, man. This is getting ridiculous.
Well,
Actually,
kind of my fault for missing last week.
No, actually, it was ridiculous long before that, so that's fine.
Well, it also helps that we're ridiculous on the show, so it's in theme.
Yeah. It's just crazy how many things we get like every week. It's just insanity. You guys are crazy. You guys are insatiable. Like, you'd think we'd have answered every question by now. We've been doing this show for 6.5 years. You'd think people would be satisfied. No, they are never satisfied.
They'll never be satisfied. They'll never be satisfied.
It's true, they won't. But you can be satisfied at least a little quicker over at patreon.com/BumbleKast.
Or Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast.
Yes, head on over to either one of those. And, hey, well, maybe we will answer your question a little faster. Maybe. Because that's what we do on the priority episodes. Let's go ahead and jump right on into it. If you're ready, Ian, are you ready?
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of it, let's do it.
Alrighty, here we go. We're going to get started off with one from Scruffy Mets. Hey, Ian, quick question for you. I was wondering what Cream and her mom were doing during the story of Sonic Forces. Do you have any theories or insider knowledge you can share?
Insider knowledge? No. I have no idea what the canon answer for that is. But I would imagine that they were hiding out, possibly assisting other people to hide from the Eggman Empire, doing what little they could to make people comfortable and to protect them as things went to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, sounds about right.
There are so many stories you could tell of the Eggman War.
So much.
That's in the past. Moving forward.
I guess
Onward.
so. I guess so. On to the next Eggman War. Here's one from Sonic. In one cutscene in Lost World, Master Zik was able to make a staff fly into his hand without touching it. How did he do that? Does he have some sort of telekinesis? Is that how he got the fruit in his boss fight to float around him? And is that how he got the big fruit in the levels to chase Sonic?
I don't know. You bring up a very good point. Like, the whole electromagnetic control over robots, fine. I'll buy that. That works, whatever. But he seems to be uniquely able to control things. Although, I could be very wrong, but I feel like I remember there was some flavor text in the stages that implied that he had trained the fruit to be aggressive.
Is that just how evil the Zeti are? They can even make inanimate objects aggressive? Angry.
So, I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be that he is so Zen master-like that he does have telekinesis. I don't know.
I like it. Yes, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Indeed. Indeed. Here's a question from Quaggle Gaggle. I'm not sure how much you remember from the good old days, but what was your thought process for writing issue 200? You've talked about big things you wanted for 175, but was 200 always just going to be a fight between the egg and the blur? Was his insanity just a way to shake things up or get him out of the way for the Iron Dominion? There wasn't much room between the end of Enerjack and the big battle, so I'm curious if you always wanted 200 to just be a one-on-one fight.
Oh, yeah. Because, and this is something that IDW kind of experiences too, is there's so many stories and characters and threads to follow that you kind of lose the core battle, which is Sonic and Eggman. So, it's an anniversary issue. We wanted to do something special. And it's like, when was the last time Sonic and Eggman just fought? When did the principal protagonist and the principal antagonist just go at it? It's like, it's been a while. So it's like, let's just give the people what they want. Let's just have a good old fashioned hero versus villain knock down, drag out fight, and have some consequences to it, which was the mental breakdown, and that set up Iron Dominion because that's what we knew we were doing next. So yeah, all of that was planned and fell into place and worked out rather nicely.
Awesome. Here's a question from Off. How exactly do Zombot's mentality work? Typical zombies run around and attack living beings to feed on. Zombots don't feed, they simply infect. So say a Zombot attacks a random infected individual. What would they do? A simple touch is enough to spread the virus. They just go around poking uninfected, then walking off to find their next victim?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's their central directive is to copy paste, more or less. And they're very aggressive, so some poor schmuck might get mobbed and beat up a little bit until the other Zombots realize, oh, they're infected and move on.
Mm-hmm.
But once they're zombotized, they're kind of back up to their peak health, if you consider being a goo zombie peak health. So
I might.
It is kind of a mindless shambling spread, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Frightening. No, sir, I don't like it. Here's a question from Ava Arctic. Since Boom Eggman likely won't ever come back, will there ever be a spiritual successor? Someone that's a villain, but more of a comedic thorn in the side rather than world domination hungry?
Rough and Tumble?
Maybe. You don't know. I mean, you do know.
I guess Boom Eggman is different in that he was a major instigator. Like Rough and Tumble are mooks.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't going to cause serious trouble. So I don't know if we'll see a larger mover and shaker who's largely played for laughs, but I don't know. It's a possibility.
Maybe. There's one from Happy Times. Ian, how did the idea to remake the infamous Nagas game story for Free Comic Book Day come about?
Let me see if I can remember. I think it was Free Comic Book Day was coming up. We wanted to do an original story to give it some value. And I want to say Paul Kaminsky, who was the editor, wanted some kind of Sonic versus Nagas fight to be in theme with the storyline going on at the time. But I was like, we can't really have them fight the way that the story is laid out right now. That just wouldn't fit anywhere. And if it was just kind of a pointless, they slap at each other and then call it quits, that's not satisfying. Why make it an in-continuity story then if it's not going to have any kind of weight to it? So I don't know who came up with the idea first. I'm inclined to say me because I, love to dig in the trash and pull up all the obscure stuff, but it might have been him. So Paul, if this was your idea, take a bow, because it was a great idea, was to look at the last time they had really fought, which was the Nagas games, and, actually do a story instead of that shameless cash grab that it was.
Cash grab? Weird, but okay.
Well, in that you paid money for trash.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
I tried to abstain from throwing shade on the show, but Nagas games was inexcusable. That was peak lazy. So Nobody liked
Yeah.
Naga's games. Nobody thought it was remotely acceptable. So I figured let's spin the straw into gold on this and actually tell the story, make it exciting, make it engaging, make you
Yeah.
understand why Nagas versus Sonic is a fun thing. And I'm rather proud with what we came up with. It was a fun little romp. It did good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at the original now, and it's like, yeah, no. Sorry to anyone who paid for that. Here's a question from Andrew D. You recently mentioned that you had plans to bring in Waltz into the Mega Man comic, but I remember a while back you saying that Waltz might have been owned by your creator and not by Capcom. Was this something you found out that Capcom owned? Would you have gotten permission to use Waltz, or would you have made your own character based on Waltz? If so, any name ideas?
I do remember that we got so far as pitching the Mega Man 4 arc, and that's where Waltz was flagged. I was like, but we used that same art for Madam Why? And they said, yeah, no. It's like, okay, well, when we had introduced Vesper Woman, we originally wanted to use the original concept art for Honey Woman. And they were like, yeah, no.
It's already penciled.
Was it already penciled?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, I'd forgotten that.
Wow.
But, they came back and said, can't do that. So we changed it real quick into Vesper Woman. So Waltz would have been kind of the same thing, is the idea of Wily built a little girl bot, and it's not Waltz. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Didn't settle on a name. I did want to try something that was equivalent to Waltz, but hadn't gotten that far yet because that's when the book kind of slipped into its coma and has been lying there ever since.
Yeah. Only thing I could think of is Tango, but that's already taken.
Yeah, you can't do and a Tango isn't really like a
And
waltz.
it's not a good and also, yeah, it's not exactly the same. But I don't know. I'm just
ballroom dance doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Concerto? I don't know.
Missed opportunities. Thy name is Mega Man. Here's one from Boaton. Does Whisper has toe beans? If so, are they considered lesbians?
Yeah, I see what you did there. But no, she's a modern Sonic character, so she's got those weird blobby flipper feet like everybody else.
Blobby. Blobbing. Yeah. And our last question before we take a quick break is courtesy of Dove. Frosted or unfrosted Pop-Tarts? Toasted or straight out of the box?
See, I hate to disappoint anyone listening to the show, but I don't really like Pop-Tarts.
I mean, they're not great.
Okay, I'm not alone.
They're fine, but they're not great. Like, Pop-Tarts are not intended to be like good food. They're definitely not good for you. They're like,
but I enjoy a lot of not good for you food, and that's just not one of them.
True. I mean, they're all right. There's definitely better breakfast foods out there, but I don't know. I think I would prefer I prefer the frosted ones generally, and I don't ever really bother toasting them because I don't want that. You make the Pop-Tart not like Pop-Tarts aren't great to begin with. You make them even worse by like burning your mouth on the on the stuff in the inside of it by cooking them. It's like, come on.
Yeah, I didn't know if like toasting them would make them feel like fresher and closer to pastry.
Not really. Like they're just general, like, I don't know, pastries. Yeah, a thin layer of goo. That's what's inside of them. Yes. Yeah, they're fine. But, not my favorite. Not my personal favorite. So, they're okay. They're snacks. But, Yeah, if I got a snack, I'd have other snacks I like to eat instead, so they're fine. Anyway, speaking of stuff that's fine, might be whatever's gonna be in this break. We don't know. It could be anything. Hope it's not something that makes us look bad. But
because we do that enough on our own.
Yeah, we don't need any help. We don't need any help with that. So
see you after the break.
We're back with a question from Noni. What do we have to do in order to convince SEGA to make Live, Laugh, Love mugs that we can buy off their website? like the Starline version of Live, Laugh, Love?
I'm assuming so, yeah.
I figured it'd be Live, Laugh, SEGA.
I actually would like one of those.
Yeah.
I'd contact their social media and say, can we get some tie-in merch, please? I mean, we got the toaster, we got the pizza cutter.
Yeah.
Why not a mug?
It's true. I still like that. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like one of those embroidered things that says "Live through the ditches and laugh through the witches and love in the back of my Dragula." It's like, yeah, okay. Finally, one of those I can get behind.
I would hang that up on my wall.
Absolutely. Here's one from Pan Dulce. I was wondering, how would the dynamic between Mr. Tinker, Orbot, Qbot, and Bell?
Oh, wonderfully wholesome.
How would be the dynamic? Sorry. I mean, grammar's a little
they
janky,
get along swimmingly. Like, maybe Orbot would think for a moment, oh dear, the boss isn't quite himself. There's not a lot of evil going on, but he lets me take as many breaks as I want. So, farewell, old boss. Welcome, new boss.
Hello, new boss.
Meanwhile, Qbot's really confused by the whole situation. Why is he wearing different clothes? I never seen him do that before. But, Bell is nice and helpful, and Mr. Tinker is
nice and helpful,
life-affirming and nice, so they just build good things and help people and live happily ever after.
Wow. I just think it's funny that Eggman never changes his clothes. Boy, it's got to be stinky.
I imagine that Michael Jackson coat and those waiter pants are high-tech enough that they just automatically clean themselves.
I don't know.
Every now and again, you just hear this and the smell of freshly steamed laundry wafts through the air.
It's like the self-drying jacket from Back to the Future that talks to you. Your jacket is now dry. Here's a question from Radry. While writing Archie Sonic, do you recall anything your inner critic repeatedly had kept telling you that you need to do with the continuing storyline or characters? How about IDW and now?
I am not sure if I follow the question.
I'm thinking like maybe they're like an idea you had or something in your mind that you wanted to do with the characters that you kept on putting off or something. That seems like what it is. What they're asking. Maybe. It's like you had a storyline or there was something you wanted to do and it was constant in your head, but you never did it or something like that. That's kind of how I get it.
I'm sure there was with Archie Sonic, but it's been so long since I've had to think about it. It's kind of fallen by the wayside. I mean, with IDW, if there's any inner critique that I'm constantly being reminded of is keep it simple, stupid. Don't turn this into yet another multi-year arc that may or may not see the light of day. Just tell the story and get her done.
And then you did the Metal Virus.
That was only a year and a half. That's still shorter than some other things I've done.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, you thought you had time.
Yeah.
Time. That's not your fault.
And that's kind of still in my mind. Like, if I were lead on the books again, that would still be kind of forefront, is don't make some stupid long arc. Tell, a concise. I feel like Neo Metal Sonic was kind of just right. Like, it was the whole arc itself was a decent length. It was made up of nice smaller single stories and smaller arcs that all built to a whole, and it was just a fun romp, and we're good.
Right.
Like Metal Virus, I look at it and it's like there are places here and there where we could have trimmed, but I don't see how we could have cut more than an issue or two without sacrificing something. And then you have to take into account the trade format and what issues fit where. So
yeah. Unfortunately, writing for the trades is very much a real thing these days. So
yeah,
not much you can do
funny
about
too,
that.
Looking at feedback on Metal Virus, because there seems to be two distinct camps where folks are either like, that dragged on forever and was tedious and boring. How did anyone like this? And the other camp going, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I was terrified. I was crying. This was such a great thrill ride.
Yep.
And it's like, there is no middle ground here. What is my takeaway from this?
Yeah. And then people who read it in the trades, you didn't have to wait around between each issue. So, you had that kind of thrill ride going on throughout the whole thing, probably, where it was like, okay, what's going to happen next? And then you turn the page and you find out instead of waiting for a month between each one or more.
I had a fun interaction on Twitter where somebody was coming on to the Metal Virus saga very late in the game. And they were like, dude, you got me emotional about Charmy. And I'm like, buckle up. You're in for a ride.
You know what? People don't want to admit it, but I think they like Charmy. I don't know. Maybe it's some sort of Stockholm syndrome thing where he's been around for so long now. It's like, okay, well, I guess we can't hate him anymore. He means well. Is that what you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tries.
Yeah, well, Here's a question from Death Hero 61. Any permanent upgrades for Dr. Light's robots, including Rush, Roll, Auto, and Rock, since the Ramoon incident?
Not especially. Maybe some
get that
better electromagnetic coding protection, but I mean, Bagman did kind of blow up Ramoon real good. That was a threat that was unprecedented and never really came back again.
Mm-hmm. And here's one from The Cartoonist. Not a Sonic question, but do either of you have a go-to movie or show that you use to chill out? I say that like Ian actually has time to sleep/breathe. But if you had the momentary opportunity to watch a film, what would be your wind-down film? You too, Kyle.
Every now and again, I will queue up either Endgame / Infinity War or the last two Pirates of the Caribbean films. What was it? Because the first one is Curse of the Black Pearl. So then it's Dead Man's Chest and
whatever that one is.
At World's End. There we go.
World's End. Yeah.
Because they only made the 3, mind you. So
yep.
2 and 3. Because I know I've watched them so many times that they're just kind of mental comfort food, and they can be playing in the background and I'm not really paying attention, and then one scene will pop up and it's like, yeah, this was fun. Back to work. And it's kind of nice. They're just fun.
Yeah. I still watch Back to the Future on here and there. That's just a chill out movie for me, Honestly, I don't know. I try not to go back too often to things, given how much is just out there. I always try to watch something new, but yeah, there's still some things, Sometimes it's nice to go back. So Back to the Future is one of those that I go back to. I mean, I've watched Star Wars many times, and the original trilogy, of course. trying to think if there's really any other things I go back to. Not really these days, not too much, but you know, there's just some fun to be had with stuff you've seen a million times. It's good to put on in the background or whatever.
Aaliyah and I would watch the movie version of Chicago to the point where we haven't touched it in a while because it's like we've still memorized it. It's great, we love it, but it's like too much of a good thing. That, and it didn't help that like back when we still had cable, it was like the movie that they filled the air with at all hours for some reason.
It's always on. Yeah.
So it's like, oh hey, let's pop that on. That's fun. It's like, and here it is again, and here it is again, like once a week almost. It's like, okay, time to put it down. Let's step away.
Wow,
we're done.
See, I'm trying to think of like that movie, and I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh, you should watch it at least once.
Yeah,
it's really fun.
I mean, I think I heard a lot about it at the time it was new, but you know, that was 20 years ago.
It is easily one of the best musical theater to film transitions out there.
Okay.
I know that's not setting the bar very high in some people's opinion, but it works. It works really well.
Musicals in general aren't super my thing, but maybe if you like it, it might be all right.
There's a lot of sarcastic humor and dark humor and a whole musical number about murder, so I think you'd like it.
You know me well.
He had it coming. He had it coming. He only had himself to blame.
Okay, I do recognize that. Murder. Here's a question from Ian Waffles. What was the thinking behind the plot point that nobody thought of Nicola's liability during the Iron Dominion arc? While it's never stated, I always thought the subtext was supposed to be that both parties were missing the most obvious thing, which often happens in real life. But more so in the hero's case, it seemed because, of course, they wouldn't consider Nicole, they don't see her as a robot, and they don't see their home as a technofortress, which seemed to be something you leaned into with Mina's story. But maybe I'm reading too much into it and they just forgot. Would love to know your intentions for this plot point.
No, you pretty much nailed it. It's supposed to be the heroes had gotten kind of complacent in what they knew and what they were comfortable with, and you know, Eggman's out of the picture, so here's a new threat, but we can handle it. We can handle anything. We've done this before. And as you said, you know, Nicole is one of us. We don't see her as a artificial construct. And that tunnel vision, that complacency, that comfort kind of bit them in the butt.
Good characters going evil is fun, though, you know? As much as I love Nicole, I don't want anything bad to happen to her. That was good. She came back, so it was good.
That was also like one of the very, very, very few times where I did the concept art for the redesign. And one, liked what I did.
Yep.
And two, it didn't get changed that much when it was implemented. It was like, I actually contributed artistically.
That's a fantastic design for her, though. I do like that. I do like that design. It's Iron Nicole. It's a damn good design.
The other one, I think, was The Bride of Endless Reach, because that's, you know, a cloak with eyes and 6 sleeves. That's pretty basic.
Oh, well, you know, sometimes the basic is just works. Here's one from Ann Tales. Greetings, Kyle and Ian. I need some help with an upcoming chapter of my fanfic. In your opinion, is Sonic a big spoon or a little spoon? This wholesome Sonamy stuff I have planned is of the utmost importance. Thanks.
Well, given the size and orientation of his spines, by necessity, he would have to be a big spoon.
I think so, yeah. He kind of has to be, because it would be very painful if he wasn't.
It would be cumbersome at best.
Yeah. This is just a little pokey.
Be like nuzzling into a bed of knives.
No! That's horrifying. Oh, no. Ow. Ow. Ugh. I don't know. Who would be worse to be the big spoon for? Sonic or Shadow? Oof.
Neither's particularly great. I mean, at least some of Shadow's head spines swoop outward. So you've got like maybe a small space of security.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I don't know.
This Harlequin romance novel is brought to you by Ginsu.
The chat.
Their love was like steel, folded 1,000 times over. Their commitment cut through any adversity, just like this perfect 15 set now. Available for $59.99.
Sonic is not a spoon, he is a fork. And finally, our last question, Professor Rye. So you found yourselves on a deserted island. Don't you think that would be inconvenient?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. Maybe I wanted to be on that deserted island. Maybe I wanted some peace and quiet. Get away from you.
Okay.
Guys.
What do I remember from Castaway?
Wilson.
I saw that once. If Tom Hanks can do it, I can do it, right?
Of course. Wilson. Is it Wilson the volleyball? Or is it Wilson the advice-giving neighbor over the fence on Home Improvement? Or is it something else? I don't know. Both were volleyballs. Yes.
That's going to wrap us up for this edition of the BumbleKast. But before we go, we're going to give a big thank you to all the patrons who support us each week. A big thank you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Robotnik Holmes, Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Mike B., Coupling Crew 128, DK, Doiz Diz Din, Dave M., Andrew D., Off, Salute Your Cat, Jay Frost, Scruffy Matt, Chris A., Sonny, Hero of Light 13, John M., Noni, Ryan D., Jib, Dawn B., Yami M., Lee HK, Lisa M., Chevelle, Blue Title Gamer, Fiona M., Ben W., Tick Tick, Final Neil, Xanderoni the Painter, Jonathan D., Fire Red XY, Nimric, Solaire Stain, Dabbler the Dalek, Godzilla, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Daniel B., Pedanti Cat, The Name is X, Dove, Red the Supernamic, Axis Pandulce, Quaggle Gaggle, Chad, Ava Arctic, Jennifer H., Scurvy, Pirate Hog, Les, Professor Rye, and Preston M., Cameron H., Sapphire Scarletta, Alphamon or Yukon, Noah S., Chase L., Red Wolf, Kojiro Hyman, Joey the Sonic Fan, Awesome Cakester, Kimiko, Radry, Callum Q, Just a Mountain Soul, John the Real Waluigi, Owen BD, Alex GS, Ty Hawkins, Maddie H., In Zephyr KJB, T-Ranger and Tails, Dream Boatin, Mox, Lewis J, Derusiful, Force Sonic Fan, Finest Cacophony, Techno Cinema, The Marble Gardener, Arc Fighter, Goosey Tantai, Agent Kaz, Lacey M, Unlikely Veronica, Michael P, Spiral Warrior, Jamal S, Neo Strife, Shaggy Dog, Jack the Animator, Ty Cyan, Nondal, Rhythm Raccoon, The Cartoonist, Chaos Sonic 1, Sprites Forever, TV Guru, Speedweed, Pizza Person, Joni, The Internet Person, Alicat, and Azalis.
All right. That's one heck of a list right there. Thank you all. Thank you.
We will see you Wednesday for another Priority Q&A episode, Friday for the standard Q&A, and then Saturday, it's the end of the month. You know what that means? Another live Q&A session.
Woohoo!
BumbleKast. So, until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Bye! Yay! Bye!
Man, we tore through that one.
Yep, that's right.
It's amazing what happens when I'm well rested and fed.
I don't understand. I'm confused and scared. Alrighty. Cool. Awesome.
So if you wouldn't mind cutting out the pauses and that fumbling on Azalis.
I gotcha, buddy. Don't worry.
Thank you kindly.
I will be sure to make it worse. Make you sound even worse. It's what I do.
114.
And growing every week. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. OMG, it's comic book superstar Ian Flynn.
Superstar. Maybe like small twinkling star that you see with no light pollution.
Sure. You're getting in a wrestling match with your mic.
Yeah, well, it's winning.
And then the cats will come in and rub up against it.